So, we're going to get started. Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Woodbury County Zoning Commission. Today's date is May 22nd, 2017. It's like, ooh. Okay, and the time is 6 o'clock sharp. Tonight's meeting will be audio taped and meetings will be prepared. In respect to all parties, we ask those present turn off cell phones or set to vibrate. Those in attendance are asked to legibly complete the attendance sheet upon the front table. I would like to take a moment to review the procedures that the Commission will follow tonight. First, the Commission will handle the normal housekeeping agenda items. Then for each application on the agenda, I will open the public hearing on the item. The Planning and Zoning staff will then present the staff report, including the staff recommendation. Any letters or other communication received from the public prior to the hearing will be entered into the record. The applicant will then have the opportunity to present his or her case and respond to the staff report. Next, we will hear comments from the public. If you would like to speak either in support of or against the application, you must come to the microphone. Please first state your name and address for the record. All interested parties shall be heard, but repetitious comments should be avoided. Repetitious or irrelevant comments may be ruled out of order by the chair. I ask that you remain respectful and courteous with your comments at all times. After all public comments have been heard, the staff and applicant may make a closing statement. The hearing shall then be closed by motion and vote. Thereafter, no further comments from the staff, public, or applicant may be heard unless asked for by the Commission. The Commission shall then deliberate the case and may ask questions of the applicant, the staff, or any party offering testimony. However, such questions do not reopen the hearing for additional comments from the public unless so requested or approved by the Commission. The Commission will then formulate and vote on a motion. The motion will typically either grant or deny the requested application. Any Commission member who has an ex parte communication to place in record of this meeting shall do so prior to the beginning of the deliberation of the respective agenda item. Okay, first item on the agenda then is any person wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. The next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the Commission's April 24, 2017 meeting. Do we have a motion, corrections, comments?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, next item on the agenda is public hearing and recommendation to the Board of Supervisor for the final plat for BK Addition, a minor subdivision, GIS parcel 864-628-300-006. John, will you read into the record the information we need, please?
Brad and Brandy Koenig have filed a subdivision application and final platting. Final platting proposes to subdivide a 36.26 acre parcel into 2 lots. Koenig's request subdivision to create an independent 2.09 acre parcel. We'll refer to it as Lot 1 for the existing single-family dwelling, outbuildings, and grain bins. Lot 2 will contain the remaining agricultural ground. Both lots are for sale, with closing dates pending. No additional residential development is anticipated. You've got mapping of this, but if you're looking at the screen behind you, we've got Lot 1 wraps around these grain bins. I'm going to go through some issues, including an easement location as we proceed. The other issue we've got is we're within 350 feet of the corporate line of the town of Sloan. So you'll see one of the staff recommendations will be a condition that Sloan either waives their extraterritorial review right or approves the final plat. We anticipate they will hear the issue and run the final plat through their process. The issue related to the easement is a 25-foot strip extending north-south off of this drive through this area, and we'll end up splitting the lot line back here and will be the field entrance location basically for Lot 2, which will remain in ag production. To our knowledge, there's no other field entrance around the perimeter of that larger parcel, Lot 2. that provides access, egress, or utility easement opportunities. This parent parcel, the 36 acres, is currently zoned ag preservation. The current proposed uses of the parent parcels and its structures are legal conforming uses within the stated zoning district designation and Woodbury County zoning ordinances. It's of note that obviously when we create the second larger lot, there is the ability to apply for a building permit on that lot. The developers told us that's not the intent, that will remain in ag production. The other issue here is that we're somewhat protected from that happening because any approved building permit for a third dwelling in that quarter would require at least that lot be rezoned to ag estates. Of further note is the fact that up in this area of the parcel, we've got about 1.6 acres that's in the 100-year floodplain. We just note that it doesn't impact any of the development opportunities intended, and the area in the floodplain will remain in ag production use. This parent parcel does lie within the Farmers Drainage District. We have not received any response from the clerk or the trustees to our mailing. CSR on this the farm part of this piece of ground is significant. It's 87.8. Usually we start looking a little tougher at taking ground out of ag production when we hit 65. But the fact that lot one, proposed lot one, is already is a building site with single-family dwelling, and the fact that the remainder, the significant remainder of the parent parcel is going to remain ag production, staff is not going to raise that issue. Is mitigating whether you approve this subdivision or not. We're along the north side of DOT right-of-way. It's not county jurisdiction, so the paving policy wouldn't apply. It's paved anyway. No paving policy, no paving agreements necessary. We've spoken about the extraterritorial review rights of town council. Independent well and septic systems currently serve what was supposed to be lot one. We're okay there. We notified the 9 property owners within 1,000 feet. We didn't hear from anyone related to the comment for the public hearing. You'll see the long list of 16 agencies or other departments we notified by letter. Only response was from the real estate department that the subdivision name has been reserved and is available for use. Of note is the lack of response from the county engineer. I think we have a condition we'll recommend you place on final plat recommendation tied to that issue. And I'll get into that when we do our staff recommendation, which is right now. Subject to any public hearing testimony you receive, staff recommends supports the final plat approval recommendation by your commission conditioned upon 2 issues: final plat approval or waiver of Sloan's extraterritorial review, and 2, the condition that we receive something from the county engineer showing that the plat and the individual lots were closed pursuant to standards established by Iowa code. We don't anticipate, from what we know about roadway right-of-way issues and the topography we know exists here, the engineer would have anything to do with a right-of-way which isn't under his jurisdiction anyway. So the only thing I could see being an issue would be certification that everything closes, which we anticipate to be fine. Have no reason to believe otherwise. We provided you with a number of documents. I'm not going to list them here, but they're provided in your packets, including imagery, the application, contours, soil summary, etc. And of course the application and parcel information. I'm willing to entertain any questions you might have regarding the staff recommendation.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
This is pretty much a administrative step only. Looks like it's in good shape, and if you're acceptable to the easement scenario, providing the 25 feet of access required under the subdivision ordinances, I think we're in pretty good shape on this one, subject to those two conditions.
Looks like there's a motion to accept the two conditions you want.
And we'll clarify those in a minute, so they're clear. I don't think any of this will be an issue.
You're making the motion to approve the final plat? Okay,
Yes.
subject to the Sloan Town Council extraterritorial review and the Inch County engineer verifying
But then
closure.
in another sense, if you already mailed it out to them and they haven't responded yet,
Which one knows this?
well,
The
either one of them.
Sloan
you
or the
mail out
engineer?
both of them.
Yes, I do know through the surveyor, though, that the town council is going to hear this thing. But we have no, and that's not atypical. Usually the town councils don't get back to us. But we would make sure that, we'll know what's on the Mylar. And this final plat shows they're going to be signing, so they indicated they want to run it through their system. Al, am I pretty much on base there?
It was approved May 18th by Sloan.
Okay,
So it's already
so
done.
they're
I don't
done.
have they did it by resolution, I don't have the resolution yet, but it'll be an attachment to the plan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why should
Okay.
we hold these guys up when they're doing
Yeah.
their job and, you know, it's their job down there to get back to you.
Okay, so the only thing we haven't heard back from is the engineer about
That's right.
closure, okay, of the parcels.
I would still like a condition on there, but just the fact he presents the resolution indicates it's done.
Okay. Yeah,
We're
we'll
good.
keep that. So we have a first. Anybody else have any other comments or questions?
I'd like to make a second to that
Okay.
motion.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Subject to the two conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
John, you know the date for the board of supervisors?
We're probably gonna try to shoot for next Tuesday, Al.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I just, for informational purposes, do we have closing dates set on your real estate transaction?
We do.
And you, what are those dates again?
For the house, excluding the ag-land in the back, is the,
Okay, and the ag ground is gonna be sold independently and,
that I believe is, waiting for the final plat as well. I think both, essentially, when we close
By the
the
end of the-
plat is recorded, and we have legal restrictions for both.
we'll expedite those as quickly as we can. Best case scenario is, you know, next Tuesday, the final plat. The Mylar is usually available the next day.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, thank you
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
Yep. You don't need to stay if you don't want to. We're done. If you want to listen to the rest of the meeting, you're welcome.
About the fireworks.
You want to stay for the fireworks? Woo-hoo! Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion regarding fireworks legislation.
Pretty public topic, been in the paper and all those things, and it's unfortunate that the legislation got passed down in Des Moines with no real cushion to allow jurisdictions to get on board with, you know, drafting ordinances if they wanted to control their destiny in some of this. I was hoping that we'd have more information from the state fire marshal's office to kind of give you a heads up. At this point, the supervisors have not sent this to you as a study issue. I would suspect they may do that from the standpoint of what they want to control. I anticipate, but I can't guarantee that the discharge component of this, they probably will not try to regulate unless they get some significant public testimony that we shouldn't be shooting fireworks off in certain areas. I'm more concerned about the sale issue and our ability, if they want to, they being the supervisors, want to control where we have these tents or structures popping up to sell at those 2 windows at a time that are allowed under the statute. Do we want to allow it anywhere? Do we want to keep it out of residential zoning? Do we want to relegate it to board-driven issues, and we'll respond to those when we kind of get the message. Hey, we want to deal with this, or we just want to go through the first year and just see what happens, and go from there. I mean, I'm not anticipating any significant number of people coming out of the woodwork that want to sell fireworks, but we do have one, and that's kind of pushing to be up and running for June 1. And he's kind of taking a chance by constructing in an area that he's already permitted to do so. It's a logical place to do it. He has not applied for his state permit, which he needs, and we don't know how controlling that permit process, what those regs will be. We don't know if it'll control setbacks. We don't know if it'll control issues regarding fire suppression, what you need to have in this structure, whether it's going to allow, it sounds like it's going to allow canvas-type tents to be sales, at least retail sales locations. So there's a lot still up in the air on why can we try to control something that's going to be controlled on the state level already. So stay tuned. We're going to keep feeding you information because we want to be prepared. If and when it comes, it'll probably be a situation where they want to do it relatively quick, if at all. It's on the agenda as a chair informational issue tomorrow's meeting, Board of Supervisors meeting. Simcoe's got a seminar on it, I think tomorrow morning, about an hour on what they've learned. And then that's going to be dealt with, I think, in some detail down at COZO's conference in Davenport, which the staff will go to later this week. So by the end of the week, we might know a lot more about where things are at. I'm not in a big rush, other than this one guy that wants to be up and running. June 1 essentially is when he can start selling.
Right, but if he doesn't have a state permit, I mean,
He doesn't even know what regulations he has to follow to get the permit.
Right.
Although the permit application process just came up on the State Fire Marshal's website today.
oh, okay.
So he's capable of applying, but it's kind of scary to be applying, but I can't find anywhere on there. We log in you have to log in as a user. We logged into the county as a user, but as far as I can go in the application process other than applying, I haven't seen the regs. I don't think they're issued yet. We may know more tomorrow with the Simcoe deal.
Yeah, just, I think, keep us informed at this point.
Does anybody have any significant questions they want me to address at any of these opportunities to learn more?
Well, the reality is probably just more of locations more than anything, and state will probably control everything beyond that. It sounds
I
like.
think state legislation and the regs will allow this just about anywhere, but we'll have that caveat, hey, you may check your local jurisdiction to see if there's anything else that applies.
Right.
Um,
What are your recommendations in at this point?
It's premature, but I obviously think you have to allow it in your existing general commercial locations. We anticipate, and we don't have a whole lot of those, obviously, but we do have some. Those are fairly relegated to the corridors, 29 and Highway 20. And the one I mentioned is along Highway 20, near the border of the county and the city, so it's an ideal location. A currently developed general commercial lot along the north side of Highway 20 that has personal storage. You can infer who we're talking about. He wants to convert one of those existing structures to sales of fireworks during the season. Might work well. The only problem there is that's a Larry Book development that was done
25 years ago.
late in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
I think it was late 80s, early 90s, wasn't it?
Was here when I came on board,
Which one?
and
Yeah,
it's,
storage units are on 20, on
Buchanan?
20,
Oh, they're not on the north side.
on the south
You said
I'm
north
sorry,
side.
I apologize.
That's what I was trying to think of when you said north. There's nothing.
The problem you have there is that's a split zone subdivision, general commercial along the right of way, a 20, and then back to the south behind those lots is,
Residential.
yeah, developed residential.
Right.
And there's been issues with just the Cardis plant, the Cardis site going on, and then the storage facilities going in, although properly zoned. Well, the issues are, hey, it doesn't, here we got these nice houses, and now we got looking at this stuff.
They knew it was commercial.
They knew
It was
those were
commercial when they built.
That's the
Exactly.
argument, that that's not well received. I suspect there'll be, with this increased traffic it'll create during these time periods, there'll be fires to put out, but we'll deal with it.
It's just like years ago when they put in Skyline Estates. Christie Road was gravel and they were complaining, it's a gravel road, our property's not worth anything because we've got to drive on the gravel. You know when you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be relevant, but I know we lived on the Nebraska side, a lot of churches and nonprofits sold fireworks also, so that's where a lot of your stands were, quarters of church parking lots, and the Boy Scout troops would get a lot, or,
There are
so
two.
I don't know how that plays into
Yeah.
this, but.
There's multiple application process with the state, both wholesale, retail, and then a separate permit for nonprofits. I think that where probably application fees a little lower. And then I think you can buy one level of permit to operate in a bigger window of time than another.
Well, it says here that the larger window is permanent structures, the other window is temporary structures.
Which would mean
So the permanent structures, you probably have to have some ability to regulate that, even if the state says they allow it anywhere.
Be more restrictive,
Do you think you would
typically.
want-
Well, a building permit has to go through
Permanent
local
structure.
county.
And you might argue that our ordinance are drafted that maybe even the temporary structure needs one. And then you got the issue, do you treat it as a, I hate to charge some, it's a commercial operation, albeit for a small period of time. And the fee schedule says it's $500 for the fee, for the application, which is probably gonna be more than the actual state permit to sell what you're selling. So we're gonna have to fight through those issues.
Have you looked at, like, South Dakota's regulations at all?
Well, we pulled Missouri's because they've got a
Okay.
better history and they're set up, I think, we're just a little more familiar with those for some reason. We've got theirs, we've looked at what Sioux City's doing, Rock Valley just passed an ordinance or is in the process. Then we'll see with the peer group, I know some of our peer groups, I'm more concerned about, hey, what are other counties similar to ours with the metropolitan area, and then, obviously adjacent significant
So I was
open
gonna say,
spaces.
what's everybody else doing across the state?
Well, I'll find out, that's where I'm going Wednesday, so. That's tomorrow. No, day after tomorrow. So, we'll know more, so stay tuned.
What time's that Simcoe thing tomorrow?
I think it's at 11 to 12, if I recall.
11 o'clock.
11 a.m., yeah, let's think,
Where's Simcoe at anyway?
that's about, what is that, 12?
13th,
13?
13th, 14th?
Yeah, and Nebraska.
Yeah.
In their own building, I think.
That's right.
You can't miss
Do we
it.
include the flyer in there?
Yeah. Well, I did.
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah, it's there.
will make it so.
11:22 beers.
Was I right about the time? Yeah, I just guessed, I can't remember.
10 till 11.
10 to 11?
I don't need it. I don't know, I'm not gonna be able to make it because a buddy of mine's here and I was hoping to.
I don't want to make this bigger than it is. We just have a little bit of frustration. I've been trying to get the board to act on, through my liaisons, to act on this. Hey, what are you going to do? We've got, you just don't pass an ordinance, at least the county, the level we meet. You guys only meet once a month. We don't have the luxury of, calling a special meeting. So there's no way.
That's what I'm assuming they're just gonna let this year go.
They might. Here,
Can you even get it?
Before the winter, the
Yeah.
Christmas, New Year deal rolls around.
That's what I was wondering, you can't even accomplish it by,
But the issue, I think the issue from a legal standpoint, I think the case law will support the fact if somebody gets up and running on their own, they'll pull the grandfathering card on you. And then if they're doing something that isn't safe, you get no control.
I thought we eliminated a lot of the grandfather clause stuff in all of our.
Well, the problem, the only mechanism we have right now is there's no line item for fireworks, explosive stuff. We just don't have the line item in the land use summary table. And our policy has been, hey, when you don't have something that even remotely fits, you can just take it to conditional use. So I told Peterson, who's the guy that wants to do this,
Gary.
hey, plan on getting a conditional use permit. Well, he hasn't played the grandfather card, except, I know he's heard it because, it's been a discussion I've had with Sioux City, and Jerry was looking at doing, he's got other facilities in town in Sioux City. He's going to the place where he's probably thinking he's gonna get less rules.
Right.
And it's cheaper to pull the permitting and do the stuff.
Sure.
I've got some concerns about that site where he wants to do this. Just traffic, up into Grandy or up in there. I don't know how he gets them. He's gotta show us a site plan sometime to get the building permit.
But he's doing it at the storage units?
Well, he's converting an existing one we permitted. All he's gotta do is cut out, like a counter
Window.
along multiple, those things are just tin.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That he could convert them very easily.
Right.
Probably do it so he can, something he removes every season.
but how does that work on, I know it's hard to answer, when you're talking the grandfather clause, right now, his location does not allow for that.
His location.
Fireworks sales?
Zoning district.
No, but it does not allow for fireworks sales.
Well, I'm not following you. The state.
You haven't been
law,
able to do it in the state of Iowa.
He can't do it in the state of Iowa, that's what they.
This
Has
new,
to.
right, he couldn't prior to this.
Right.
No.
That's
But
what I'm
it's
saying.
already effective. It's
Okay,
signed,
so,
it's law.
well, I guess what I'm getting at is if the county has those, since there has never been an instance where it happened, that's like coming out with some new thing, then you would draft the ordinance. The grandfather
But if
clause
they
wouldn't be in
start
effect
use
because,
Before you do that.
It's a
that's
grandfather,
when the
it's a
grandfather
grandfathered
theory
activity.
starts in. And that's not, you can't, I don't think you can do away with a pre-existing use, is what it is. I think you have to, you could fight it, close it down, and probably lose court.
You're just saying they're calling it commercial and it just moves on, correct? Fireworks just fall under commercial zoning and.
No, fireworks are legal county, or statewide.
Sure.
there is, they could be in residential as
And you
of,
have to pass something to say, hey, we're gonna allow it here, but not here.
But until we know what the state does,
Yeah.
we really can't.
Do you allow it in your general commercial or not? Do you allow it in all your ag preservation ground or not?
well, like you said too, the
Restricted.
conditional use is probably one of the better ways to regulate it because it could be used maybe in a residential setting in some spots, but not in others.
The risk of either being too lax in what you require to get that permit, or maybe tougher than the ordinances eventually allow. I told you it cuts both ways. You could get a deal, or you could end up with more conditions on your permit because we don't know what we're dealing with yet. I think the Board of Adjustment erred to the side of extreme caution. And would probably come up with some large setback from occupied structures, just from a safety standpoint.
Right.
Not that that's the right thing to do, we just don't.
But it sounds to me like you're trying to get something done prior to the season of fireworks, whatever.
Maybe just the opposite.
Okay.
If Jerry gets a pass and grandfather's in, fine, it is what it is. He's just trying this as a trial balloon this year to see if it's even got a market.
I'm sure it will.
Well, they gotta buy it somewhere. I mean, he'll have to spend some money, let people know it's there.
Right.
What
Which,
concerns me is what kind of sign is he gonna come in here and want to throw up?
oh, maybe that's what you can nab
Well,
him
it's on
on.
premise, it's relegated to a smaller
Size.
size.
Right,
100 square feet, I think.
Right.
Which isn't small,
right.
but it's on premise, so we can throw something up that we're not accustomed to seeing except on billboards.
Keep us posted on all we can do at this point, right?
Yep, we'll try to learn more and go from there. You got any other issues? Or maybe I'm jumping agenda items here. We put something in there, Commissioner comments.
Okay.
Anything to report to us, or? Okay.
People out there for non-agenda items, no bodies.
He said 30 minutes,
Wow.
31.
31, wow. Hopefully you bet on it. Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Hey, I just thought of something we failed to
Okay.
do.
Hang on. Never
We
mind.
voted on closing the public hearing.
No, we did not.
We need to back up and do that.
Okay,
Um,
we need a motion to close the public hearing.
for the DK edition.
Prior, and then we have to make that motion again?
I think we'll be okay. We just want to just vote. We'll
Yeah.
make a note in the minutes that it was taken out of order, but we didn't close the hearing.
Okay. Do we have a motion to close the hearing?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, do we have a second?
Sorry, I should have caught that.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Till next time. Don't know of anything on the horizon, but it might be fireworks.
Literally, literally. Ah, funny. All righty then.
Hey, when's the, I know you got your, fly-in, it's not fly-in, but one of the.
10 June.
I saw the flyer, when does, is it a B12 or B, or something, is it a stealth bomber?
We got a B1,